What's up everybody, Pete with Auto Repair Tips. In this video, I got a 07 Dodge 1500 series Ram pickup with a 5.7. Guy says his emergency brake doesn't work. So I popped off the rear rotor, took a look at it, and as you can see, it is rusted all to shit. Now down in the south where we are, unless you live at the beach and you park your truck right damn near on the water, it's about the only time you're gonna see something like this. So my hunch is this truck come from up north. All right, that being said, I'm gonna show you how to put emergency brakes on an 07 pickup that are rusted all to shit. Let's get into it. So in this truck here, you gotta pop out the rear axles. So in order to do that, I need to get under this cover here. These bolts are held on with a 15. And looking at it, somebody's already been here because that is not factory RTV. When I get up to the top, I kind of just crack them just a little bit. So that way we can pop open the cover, get all the fluid out without making too much of a mess. The fluid don't look half bad. I also kind of go in a crisscross pattern as I go up. I mean, there's no real right or wrong when you do it. It's kind of like your preference. One thing I forgot to say is make sure you got it neutral before you raise it up so you can rotate the tires, because there's a pin, it's an 8mm that you got to take out. Once you get this pin out right here, there's another pin that goes between the two axles. You got to get that out so you can push the axles in to release that C-clamp. Sometimes when you're doing this, things don't go this easy, I can promise. And that's the pin that comes out of there. Now we're going to take the axle on this side and we're going to push it inward. It's not even a 1/16 of an inch. Once you do that, it releases. There's a pin, there's a C-clamp in there. Let me get it out and I'll show you what it looks like. Sometimes they're a little bit of a bear to get out. Usually they come right out though. So there's so much rust on the inside of that side of the axle where the seal is that I can't get the axle far enough this way to get the C-clamp out. So it's kind of fighting me a little bit. But as soon as I get it to a point, it's going to slide right out, I can promise. There it is coming right now. Unreal. You can't. I thought he had it closed because he was cold. Well, we're almost there. So close. Sometimes it just takes patience. You'll know when I'm out of patience, my mouth gets a little foul. All right, let me work it some more. All right, switching to a bigger screwdriver. I'll try and get both of them in there at the same time and work it. The other one was just a little too small. Boonk. There you go. Now I'm only going to do one side at a time. When I get this side finished, the left side finished, I'll put it back together and knock out the right side. All right, once you get the C-clamp out, the axle just slides right out. I say the axle just slides right out. Come on. I'm definitely gonna have to put a seal. When I get this out, I'm gonna show you what it looks like, but we're definitely gonna have to put a seal on this side. Nasty. And I had to take those yellow gloves off. They were getting so slick, they weren't out doing anything for me. Bearings are good, but look at the seal. That's why I couldn't get that axle far enough that way. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a hardware kit, backing plate, new shoes, and pretty much that's it. When I get it off, I'll clean it up. For right now though, when you got it apart, stick a rag in here. Couple of rags. Just to keep it from getting shit in there, you know? All right, let me get this apart. Once I get it laid out, then we'll order some parts. Pretty much everything's in stock. It is just rusted. Oh my God, it's rusted so bad. So y'all know me. You'll probably never see me in safety glasses, but there's so much rust down in here. I'm not having a chance of anything going in my eye. All right, these are an 18. Take these off. They gotta come off next. This is not normally how I take them apart. I'm just kind of goof around a little bit just to see how much crap is actually in here. There's 2 pins, one on each side with 2 clips. That holds your pads, or that holds your shoes in place. I'm gonna go ahead and knock these out of the way. So there's so much rust on here, there's no really special way to attack it. You just want to get the shoes off, get the springs off. This spring is even busted. And if you're not sure how it's going to go back, take your phone, take a picture, and take a, you know, so you have something to go by. That's the clip I'm talking about. So if you're not familiar, like I said, make sure you take pictures. Actually, I take pictures. I took a picture of this just to have something on file for reference. What a mess. I think if you're up north, you get to charge extra for this, right? Pretty sure. Okay. Now the pads are loose. They're just stuck. Literally just stuck to the dam. Here's a spring here. Let's just get rid of that. What's wrong? This is crazy. I've probably never seen one, and I've been doing it God knows how many years, this bad. Holy crapola. So what I need to get off now is the emergency brake slide. When you push that brake, this is what locks it in gear. This is what moves the shoes right here. And it is jammed up in there. I have to get that also. So there's a spring that locks this cable in place. A lot of times what you have to do is I get a pair of needle nose vice grips and I kind of get it started. Come on. Let me get the vice grips up in there and I push it this way and lock it in. Then I'm able to get the cable out. Almost. Man, this thing is rusted its ass off. There we go. Holy crap. So this is my setup and there is nothing wrong with doing it like that. Especially when you got one as jacked up as this. Just want to make sure when you go back with it, there's little locking tabs right here. Bring it down so it will lock back inside here. And this is what it looks like. All right, now let's bang off this backing plate. It's got screws in it, but I'm not sure how well that's gonna last. They look like 8mm. Let's see what happens. Oop. Tell you what. All right, I had to get an extractor because they're just too rusted and gone. I'll go back with new bolts. And hopefully it'll come out this way. Who didn't know that was going to happen? Should have broke off. Well, there's one. All right, so there you got it. One broken bolt. I'm hoping that's the only one that's going to break. I do not feel like drilling out 3 other bolts. She's alive. Hell yeah. That's one less I got to drill. Boom. And she just slides right off. Look at that crap. So we got some cleaning to do. All right, let me get some parts here. We'll get this cleaned up and we'll knock her out. We're gonna have to beef it up a little bit. All right, that wasn't cutting it. So I went ahead and got my air grinder here. It's called Torque CB Cherry. It's made by, it's Kimball Midwest. It's pretty decent for cleaning up rust and things. It does a nice job. Mainly you put it on your stuff like a bolt or something that has rust and it kind of eats away the rust. But I find it works just as good doing it like this. All right, let me go ahead and play with this bolt some. Start working it out, or tapping it out, should I say. All right, let's see if we can get this bolt out. So we switched over to the Mac drill bits. Lifetime warranty. If I break it, it dulls on any size bit, no matter how it happens or what's going on. Places it for free, can't argue with that. They're pricey as hell though, but they cut really well. So we're not having any luck drilling and tapping. I just popped the plate off and I'm just gonna knock it out. Heat it up and knock it out, should I say. And then when it cools down, we'll run a tap through it. right, there you go. We'll let that cool down and I'll run a tap through it. We go ahead and clean up the threads. Tell you what, I wish this weather would make up its mind what it's going to do. You wake up, it's 42 degrees, 38 degrees, midday. Freaking summertime, I was stripping clothes off. All right, so after what seems like forever, I finally got some parts in. We got these parts from O'Reilly's. They're not a sponsor of the video. We just buy their parts sometime. And I'm hoping everything was right, because when I got here, parts were here and I did not get a chance to check them. All right. No. All right, so looks like the backing plates are wrong. And the backing plate. All right, so right off the get-go, we got wrong backing plates. Everything else looks good though. I've already checked them. I don't know, whatever. All right, so right off the bat, we got wrong backing plates. Everything else looks good though. I don't see any major problems with anything else. So we need to give them a call and let's get the correct backing plates. See you tomorrow.